Welcome back, everybody. Episode 59, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And this is a solo episode. I flipped the days, as you guys will see. Those of you guys have been following the podcast for a while. Season 2, we brought out new branding. We're flipping the days. We're stepping into the space. We're having fucking rock star conversations this season. And I'm just so excited to be here. And this is the first solo episode of the season, stepping all into the space. And I am talking about all in energy today. I'm talking about plan Bs. I'm talking about distortion in the field. I'm talking about really the vibrancy within you, about trusting your own self. And this is a powerful conversation that we're about to move into together. And I just want to say a couple things. I'm so grateful that you're here. Firstly, that's the first thing I want to say. I'm grateful you're listening. I'm grateful that you're taking whatever you desire from this. I'm grateful that you are spreading the message out too. If you are doing that, thank you. You know, you guys will hear it in the outro, but thank you again. If this message is resonating in your soul, in your field, in your awareness, send it to a friend, share it out on social media, help us spread the word. Because as I've always said, and will continue to say, the Light Warriors Unleashed movement isn't just about me. It's about all of us. It's about Light Warriors finding a collective. It's about Light Warriors stepping into the space and having the tools and assets to remember who the fuck they are. So no further ado, my solo episode for you guys, episode 59, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. What is up, everybody? And welcome back, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And this is my first solo episode back in season 2, coming back off of a break, a recalibration. So much has happened in my energy field over the last few weeks, month and a half since the last episode dropped. And we came out with a bang, you know, episode 58, and this is episode 59. And I want to step in to serve you with an energy. I have been talking about this often. And some of you have been in my world for a while, and you might have heard me speak to this. And some of you are brand new to my world. And for those of you that are brand new, welcome. Welcome to the energy. Welcome to the Light Warriors Unleashed mechanism, the movement within the energy field of us reclaiming our power and owning our truth and stepping in and having hard conversations and expanding our energy and all things ascension and all the dynamics. Today, I want to speak with you guys about being all in. So I've had multiple conversations over the last few weeks with friends locally here, with some of my clients. A lot of us have been conditioned to play the game of plan B. Having multiple plans. What if that doesn't work? What if this, doesn't portray or move forward like I desire it to? And all of the dynamics of the bullshit that we keep fucking saying to ourselves all the time. When if you have a plan B around your plan A, now I'm not saying not to be prepared. I'm not saying to not have resources. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that most people have multiple plans, have multiple ways to get there, but they are not fucking all energetically aligned in one of them. Meaning the energy is getting distorted if you are not all in on plan A. So a couple things. I am all about having resources. I am all about, stepping into a space to prepare for some things potentially, or have conversations potentially that may never even evolve. So let's just say the apocalypse. Okay, let's just say if the government takes out the internet and if the government takes out the power in any of our countries, what the fuck would you do? Now, I'm not saying you need to be scared and in fear and manifest that bullshit. I'm saying, what would happen? What would you do? Do you have availability in your life to feed yourself? Do you have a community that could feed you? Do you have a community to go to be able to calibrate and move through and collaborate together to sustain yourself? What would happen in your life? That's a whole other fucking ballgame, right? I know what would happen in my life. I know where I'm going. I know what my assets are. I know what I can contribute. I know the things that are calling out to me because I live in a flow of intuition, right? So everything, it's like I said to one of my friends the other day, I said, okay, if we are really going to be creating tinctures and we want this as an asset, if anything ever were to happen to us, we need alcohol in our homes. We need, 12, 24, 48 bottles of vodka, of rum, of whatever it is we're going to mix in with the tinctures, being able to use the products of this land to heal our bodies. So right now, last weekend, 2 weekends ago, I went to a workshop on plant medicine in Costa Rica, learning the plants of the medicinal plants of the lands. Like, and I'm not talking about ayahuasca. I'm talking about medicinal plants of the land that grow here naturally in Costa Rica, what they're for, how to cultivate them, what do you do with them, and how to use them to serve the body. And it was really cool. And I actually desire to learn more about this. My also witchy self, who used to create spells and brew concoctions, is coming out very much full force, especially today, the day I'm recording this episode. It is November the 1st. It is Samhain. And for those that don't know what Samhain is, it is the witches' new year. And how, Halloween came about is literally through Celtic tradition. And I don't channel a lot of Celtic energy. It started coming into my field in one of my programs earlier this year when one of the women who's a medium saw some of the goddesses from the Celtic energy of Ireland and Scotland. And I went, oh my God, like I don't play in that field. I don't even know them. I'm more in the energy of some Hindu goddesses like Colleen, Durga, Shakti's energy, Lakshmi, or I play a lot in the Egyptian lineage energy because I hold a certain calibration of ordainedness inside of that collective. I'm an ascended master in the Egyptian lineage, like that kind of dynamic energy. And some of you would be like, what the fuck? I'm like, guys, I've been traveling a lot in astro travel, in ethers, in elevation. My energy of potency these days, when I taught my frequency program, the fucking light codes that came through me to be able to serve the collective fucking blew my mind. And the frequency program, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, fuck, I'd love to hear about this frequency program, I will put the link in the show notes so you guys can go check it out. The replays are available. They're potent as fuck. It's about all upgrading light codes. And through the stuff I've been up to over the last couple months, I've been upgrading so hard that some people in my field can't hold the energy any longer. And I understand, but I have to keep moving the energy through. So when you're listening to this podcast, you are getting downloads of light codes into your physical form. And some of you may be like, oh my God, I never thought about that before. This is what's happening in the field. All of us are being activated to move through a certain energetics. So I'm at this medicinal plant workshop, and the beautiful soul that owns the property that was teaching us gave us a Pau Darko tree. Okay, it's small. We can plant it on our properties. I don't have a property. I don't have a place to even plant this tree. It needs 10 feet around. And I'm sure my landlords would shit if I planted a Pau Darko tree in the middle of the fucking front yard. So I took one anyways for my girlfriend's property. She's got a ton of property. And if you don't know anything about Pau Darko, it is like one of the medicinal plants that can cure cancer. It is so potent in its calibration that it's the inner bark, so not the outer bark and not the actual wood of the tree. It's the inner bark that has the potency. I bought a tincture of it. I have actual bark here, and then I have the tree. And so how you create the tinctures of Pau Darko are soaking it in alcohol, and it then pulls out. It takes a few weeks for it to ferment. That's not the right word, or create, or alchemize, we'll call it. Let's go back to witchy words, alchemize. And then have its potency. And this can clear anything: parasites, viral infections, fungal in the body, any type of disease moving through the field. And so I was like, fucking rights, I want this plant. Like, I want this tree. And will the tree ever come to life, for me to be able to honor and see? Not in the vastness of what it's going to create. This is a gift to the land, a gift to the property in which my girlfriend lives on, a gift to whoever gets that property after them. But in just knowing that availability that we have, I'm going to stock up on some bark. I'm going to hold a container in an apothecary in my home. I'm going to have assets this way just to have the assets. Okay. Do I need them? No, I don't, because I could figure shit out on my own. But that is a different energy of plan B than it is of having a business model or a job, or thinking like, okay, well, if that doesn't work out, then I'm going to do this. No. When you live and play in that energy field and you are not all in your life, all in your endeavors, in your business, in your job, in your relationship, you are literally diminishing the potency of energy. Some of you have been contemplating relationships over the last few months. Some of you have been contemplating careers and business models. It's time for us in our energetic field to really get clear about this desire and step the fuck in and trust in the process, whatever that means for you. Whether it's all in your relationships or all out of your relationships, whether it's all in your career or all out in a new career, like whatever this means for you. But when we are playing halfway in, toes dipped in the water, I think I might, try this for a bit You are not going to be able to make traction. You will never know. You will, quote unquote, waste time. And although some people are like, well, we're never wasting time, it's all in divine learning and shit. I think that that's a fucking bullshit excuse now moving through the field. I believe in divine timing. I do. And I believe that things need to align in a certain energetic field. But we have free will on this earth on purpose to be able to shatter illusions, to be able to move through stuff, to have grit in, to have the courage to expand. And a lot of us are fucking playing small. And you've heard me talk about this. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you've heard me speak to this. It will never change, I don't feel. I feel like there's always going to be people playing small, and we're always going to be like fighting, quote unquote, against it. Because our natural mechanism of the earth experience is to be diminished until all the energy moves through and we can expand back into the light. And right now we're in that war. It's a war. It's a battle. And it starts within ourselves first. It's a battle within. You right now are in a dynamic of shadow energy, moving through shadow energy and fighting within yourself shadow energy. There'll come a time where you're going to step in to embrace it, and you'll step in to diminish it, and you'll step in to be, okay with it, because I have done that. It doesn't mean that I'm not still in a space of being a human. It just means that I lovingly accept the fact that I have shadow, and that sometimes I'm a bitch, and sometimes I trigger people, and that's part of my pathway. And I hold so much love and respect for everyone, but I can't do the work for others. I can't. I've tried. It doesn't work. I can't make you move stuff through. I have to hold you to boundaries and commitments sometimes that are going to fucking suck. And it's not going to be easy for me either. But that's the agreement. That's the contract I signed before jumping into this body. One of my main lessons on earth right now, and one of my main missions on earth, is accelerating people's lessons, the good and the bad. So that's why some of you get triggered being in my field. Some of you are activated as fuck in my field. Some of you can ride the wave in my energy and get into expansion and collapsing time and move it through. But there's comes a point sometimes where you get put up against the edge and you get to choose. Do you drop back into your ego and get offended and get triggered over here and then not do the work? Or are you going to fucking step the fuck in, honor it, look at the trigger and move it through? It's part of my path. It is. And sometimes this podcast is going to trigger you. And sometimes my content is going to trigger you. And sometimes if you're in programs or offers of mine, or we're working one-to-one together, I'm going to trigger the fuck out of you. Sorry, not sorry. It's part of my path and I understand it, but it doesn't make it easy. Do you think I want to be all in some days? Fuck no. Guys, I'm going to speak it like it is. Fuck no. Today I was like, I would rather have a nap today. I wanted a nap this afternoon, but I was like, no, you got to create this content first. And I went, nope, you got to get your YouTube video out first. Nope, you got to record this podcast first. And then guess what's going to happen? It's going to be time for me to leave to go to this Kundalini activation thing that I'm doing tonight here in Costa Rica. And it's like literally an inner activation, and it couldn't have come on a better day. I love the way the universe works when we follow the guidance of things, because we are literally the first day of the witch's new year, rebirthing energy today. That's what it is to be held in. And this is an opening of an expansion for me. And me and my girlfriend Laura are headed there because she's also like in that space with me. Like we can play that way where I'm like, let's go play. And she's like, yes, I'm all in. Right? All in. I'm all in. We use that verbiage a lot because we are. We'll go to this experience and be present and all in. I'll come back home, and in the work I need to do tonight, I will be all in. I will step into the space. I will hold the vibration. I will hold the energetic capacity. I will be all in. All in. For life, for my business, for how I show up, for the energy I move through the world, for the 100K months I'm creating. I'm gonna be all in, whatever it's gonna take. Because here's what I know. If I'm making an impact to be creating $100,000 months plus, that's a lot of people being lit up. A lot of people being connected into their light to be able to step over their shit and get stuff in alignment. And that for me is a big deal. And that's in my prophecy. There is never been a challenge with me creating money in my whole entire life. The only challenge was me creating it. Me. It wasn't a destitute. It wasn't a number one lesson. It wasn't one of those things that you're going to fucking suck at money and you are going to be clouded and all this bullshit of having these core wounds a cloudedness of money. That was never a commitment that I made in this life. So every single struggle I've had with money over my whole lifetime is because of me. Swallow that pill, right? I had to. Fuck, 2020 for me, in December of 2020 for me, I swallowed this one big time. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, but surrendering and letting go was a huge facet in my world to be able to honor this and understand it and move through it. So I don't want this podcast to be long today. I don't want it to be expanded because I fucking hit the point. Where in your life are you not all in? And why? Why? Because you're fucking scared? Why? Because you're hiding? Why? Plan B suck because they only diminish the energy in your field, and you cannot hold the potency in your plan A. So where in your life are you relying on your plan B that's not actually serving you? So I want to leave you with that thought today as we move through this 59th episode of the podcast, season fucking 2. We've got a lot of cool things happening this season, and I'm so grateful for the connections I'm making, for the people coming on, for the expansion energy, for the movement of expression we're going to have this season. And if there's anything that you guys desire to see, feel, hear, please send me a DM on Instagram. You guys know, go to the show notes, grab my Instagram handle. You can go there. Just like the frequency program, the link's going to be here in the podcast. Step in, allow yourself to feel, to move through, to be in this space of alignment. It's juicy as fuck, man. And everything here is available for us if we make a choice and decide. So here we go. All in. Plan A only. And we'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.